If we don't have a paper copy, if you didn't get a paper copy, they're going to have it up on the screen for those. But it's just a repeat of everything that came out in that email or the mailing that you would have received already. We still have 2 minutes to chat. Oh, we want to start at 10:45. Rod hasn't made his appearance in the back. He was the line tail of the copy line.
Oh, you got a mic. You're smart.
Well, hello? The screen just hit 10:45, so we can get going here. I'd like to call this congregational meeting to order. We're here to discuss a couple different things and get a congregational vote. One of the requirements is that anytime that we're dealing with funds over $5,000, it has to come to the entire congregation for approval or disapproval or, whatever.
Brian, remind the good folks that this is a yes or a no.
Yes.
That's the only.
This is a yes or no. We're not trying to decide anything other than accept or not accept. So yes or no. First part is the Pennell Park. Were you going to throw that out there for me, Jess? Or there we go. For those that aren't aware, that entire lot here to the south of the building is Holy Cross property. Over the years, Pennell Park residents have utilized the lot in part through an agreement back in 1977 before some of us, many of us, a lot of us, who knows. But it was very generous to Pennell Park, and Pennell Park recently changed ownership, and the new owners are willing to be more generous to us in exchange, and so we are looking at entering into an agreement that would pay they're going to pay $600 a month for the next 15 years. And if something gets sold or ownership changes, then it can all come up for renegotiation. So the ask, after we've reviewed this and talked to legal on both our side and on their side, the ask of the council presenting to you guys today is to accept this. Jess, can you throw that map up on the screen? Yes, the new one. This one. So the church is at the top, and these are the lots, or these are the spots that would be designated for Pennell. The spots that are around the perimeter that have the grass, we would have a sign posted and limiting it to our use. On the occasions that we have a funeral or wedding or other big event that we need additional parking, the ask can go back out to Pennell, and I would imagine that we'll have those center ones freed up for us for that because of the relationship that we have going on between us. So that's the first thing. Did everybody have a chance to look at the email and the information that came out regarding it? Did anybody have any questions about any of that? Go ahead, Ken.
$600 15 years from now is not worth anything. There's no.
Correct. There is not, and that was one of our asks, or one of our, whatever you want to call it, requirements that we wanted, was to have a, we'll call it a cost of living adjustment or cost, whatever, increase. And that basically, at the time, killed it. And they were willing to revert back to only 18 spots in the original lease from 1977, which there is no payment for us for. So through a lot of back and forth, we decided that while it's not totally favorable, it's the bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. This is the two in the bush thing if we were to try to pursue a cost of annual increase. So, Edna?
Is there a way that we can make it the time frame shorter, like renegotiate after 5 years?
So we looked at that as well. We wanted to have a base and then have some increases after that, and that did not garner any traction with them. This is an investment company that purchased the property next door, and their intention is to probably have it up for sale, resale, within 15 years. There is a clause, or there is a note in our lease that if that happens, then everything stops and everything's renegotiated with the new owners at that time. So if you want to say fingers crossed that it ends sooner, so be it, but we felt that this was the best that we were going to get out of the company for what they were, you know. A lot of hours were spent on this with Rod, Jeff, legal counsel, and then the council members, trying to find what we felt was going to be most favorable for us. And unfortunately, or fortunately, we didn't get everything we wanted. They're going to take care of the maintenance. They're going to take care of the upkeep, just as they have in the past. Everything else pretty much stays the same. We just get a $600 a month check for the next bit. Yep.
Brian, a question for you and the council. One of our priorities is growth of the church.
Yes. So there's the question.
For that, so I'd like to understand the council's conversation and strategy around this. Seems to fly in the face of growth because we're not going to have spots when we're doing it. So how did you guys talk about, and what the decision you made to go this direction?
You want to field that one, Rod? You don't have to. So I'll take input from my fellow team members with regards to that. It was discussed, and it was discussed in great depth as far as what that was going to possibly look like. And you can speak to it, Rod.
Keep going. You're
It's not necessarily the physical aspect of it that's going to impact our ability to grow. Our ability to grow does not necessarily mean that I got to have 50 spots that aren't being utilized now that could possibly be utilized 5 years from now, because we'll cross that bridge as it comes. We'll address that need as it comes, and we have that ability. I believe with the way things are set up, that things can be looked at.
We did just a minute, Rich. We did talk about it. One of my, probably where I pinched the council members and made it a bit uncomfortable, I asked them not to think about this as parking spots, but as people spots. And so we currently, Pennell Park right now has 18 spots. What has changed in the building is no longer just a senior housing place, but it's Section 8 housing, is that the right section? Yep, it's Section 8 they have more caregivers, and they have more family members that are coming in to care for family members. So that is somewhat drives them. Also, they have residents that have more cars. So what I think we struggled with on the council, was it people spots for Pennell Park or people spots for Holy Cross? It was not a comfortable conversation.
And to respond to that, there are residents at Adams that do attend church. They do attend Holy Cross. And so whether or not they have a car, doesn't matter. If we're looking at spots and bodies and making that relationship or correlation.
So just before Mark stands up, we have about 36 spots out in the north lot. And if we go ahead, if you all decide to go ahead with this and take our spots, many of our spots, and hand that to Pennell Park for the $600, then we will have roughly 36 plus 18 people spots, car spots.
Well, two other thoughts that I've got is that Scott, directly to what's the strategy? And I think there has been conversations with the council in the last couple of years on strategy, on growing Holy Cross. And the strategy that's been coming up in a number of conversations is an additional service. Not necessarily to expand one service, but an additional service. Now, there were no decisions made, but it's either could be another service on Sunday, it could be something another day of the week. And so that, without any decisions being made, that's where some of the conversations have been as I've been involved in the council in the last couple of years. The second thought that I've got is, I think that, I'm pretty sure that, Ann has a good relationship with Pennell Park. I think I've got a good relationship with the manager over at Pennell Park. And I think, it's not in the lease, it's hard to get it in the lease, but if we do need spots on Sunday, we'll use some of those spots, because where they really need additional spots is during the week, as Brian said, with other caregivers coming in. And I guess the sub off of that second point is, they have just redone the parking lot on the other side of Pennell Park and have restriped it, re-blacktop, re-curved it, etc. And one of the conversations that, and Jeff helped me with this one a little bit, is we think that they are not going to need 35 spots on our lot because of what they've done down there. But the agreement is for 35 spots at $600. So it's not like we will not be able to use those spots, realizing that's not in the lease, that's just Celine talking. But I think we've got a good relationship with them right now to work together. Jeff, did I reflect that right?
Yes. Okay, so I counted today, there are 5 cars in our 18, in spots that are not there. And there are, I didn't walk around the lot and count,
Right.
but there are at least 7, I didn't walk next to the building, spaces that are stairs that are vacant now.
Correct.
And a lot of you weren't here back when we had a larger congregation. And that was when Pastor Dick was here mainly, and Pastor Henneman, and it kind of filtered grow and we go out of business, that gives us an extra 9 days.
So let's stop with let's stop with the transition or the push towards the, I'm gonna call it doom and gloom. Because the council dealt with this already. Worst case scenario, what happens if, what if? Let's put it in the Lord's hands and take our guidance from that, look to growth, and we will find a way to accommodate. You look at the stories. Loaves and fishes, there was enough, right? There's going to be enough. Have confidence in that aspect of what we're trying to do and what we've looked at as a council. It is not an easy decision. Was not an easy decision for us. But we have faith in our presentation to you being the right one for us at this time. And we hope that you can see where we're coming from in that. And if you don't, that's fine. I'm not trying to sell you on it. I'm just trying to say, let's be more positive in our outlook as we make the decisions. Edna?
Okay, so why is it 35 spaces for nothing? That does not make sense.
Okay. 35 spaces is what they have asked for. They actually asked for more than that. I'll hold this closer. I just hate having things like right in front of my face. CPAP machine is enough. They asked for basically, if you look at the, Jess, can you put the image back up? If you look at this image, if you were to take that top horizontal red line, they asked for straight across. So they wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10, about 12 more spots than what's reflected in this drawing.
Initially, they asked for the whole lot.
Yeah, that is true. And initially, they did come in and ask for the whole lot. We got them to this, ultimately. I lost my train of thought, Edna. You've got to pull me back in here.
Why is it all or nothing?
Why is it all or nothing? They are very willing at this point to revert back to the original and live with the 18 spots that was on the original agreement back in from 1977. That doesn't expire until 2056.
But it's null and void because
It's not. It's not. The way that original lease was written, they can hold to that. Doesn't matter how many times a place changes ownership. So that was one of the things that we wrestled with. It was for the sum of $75, I believe, in the original lease for essentially 75 years of using 18 spots. It was paid one time, that's it. And as you know, now we're in 2025 and we get absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, absolutely nothing. So now we have an opportunity to get something, although it's not market rate, and there's other things that we all wrestled with as a council. But this we feel is the best that is available. Go ahead, Rich.
We weren't here when the original lease was done, but you're oversimplifying what their obligations have been. They did the lease and they paid the lot.
They paved it. They do the snow plow and the removal.
They did the repairs, they put in a threshold, and then they paved it again, which I know was over $65,000.
Yeah, they've done a lot in their ownership over the years. Yeah.
And they built the original. And they built, so it wasn't like we gave,
No. And I'm sorry if it made it sound like that. They have done a tremendous, the owners, previous owners, over the years have done a tremendous amount of investment into that property for that $75 that was originally paid to us for the lease for 75 years. New ownership and the way that original lease was written, they don't have to do anything further except continue the maintenance and upkeep as is for those 18 spots. They don't have to physically pay us anything further or anything like that. With this new lease and the negotiation that went about it, that portion still continues. The striping, snow removal, repaving if it becomes necessary over the next 15 years, because they accepted that in this new lease proposal, and that is part of the reason why they're at 600, because they're doing all of those things, and there's value to all of those things. So we are actually recognizing more than $600 in the long run. But does that make sense?
You're essentially saying $600 a month is a good trade-off for 15 spots.
There's another way to look at it right there. Thank you, Rich, that I was trying to get there earlier. It's not 35 spots. We keep saying 35 spots. That's 35 spots total. They already have 18. So it's just the difference between the 18 and the 35. So it's 16 additional spots. So if you look at it from that standpoint, and you want to put a price per spot, now we're only going 15 spots for $600 a month, as opposed to because the 18 are already paid for.
Adding
Yeah.
so many more spots, and that's what they're giving us the money.
They're not looking at it as we're giving you money for 35 total spots. We're giving you money for 15 additional spots. Question?
Well, I do though, actually, since they opened.
Yes.
Since they opened, it made a huge difference in parking spots on this side. Since they opened up that other side, I mean, there's very few cars.
Correct.
parked there. I mean,
Correct. They could actually get away with, as Rod said, less spots than what they're asking for, and that is part of the reason and part of what we wrestled with on a Sunday morning, on a service morning. They're not utilizing all of those spots that they're, so we're going to be able to roll into those as long as we maintain the good neighborly relationship throughout the whole process.
Now and with the old lease.
Correct.
So in my mind, you guys have done all this work, and it sounds fair to me. I mean, it sounds like you guys have amended and everything. I know.
More than one sleepless night, let me tell you.
And so, I appreciate all your work.
No, thank you.
So, we've got to correct something that we've said, I've said in other meetings, that the current lease that we have with Camel Park, we're under that lease right now. It really goes until,
That was 2056.
no, it is 2037.
Oh, 37. No, but then there was
Just looking at it,
there was something else.
yeah, I tried to look at that. Let me look at this to be totally right. Terminating on August 31st, 2052. So there was, the original lease was 1976. There was an addendum done in 1977. I was looking at the first lease that was 2037. In 1977, it got extended to 2052. So we were under that lease right now. So 75 years roughly from that initial point is correct, 1977. That's the lease that we're currently under.
And that lease, just so everyone knows, is for the 18 spots. And for them overusing, doing construction, they put comment boxes, we have no recourse. That old lease is very, very old. It doesn't give us the right to do much. The only thing we could do is fence off our spots. And you see the buckets out there, we were going to do that as a board to see what would happen.
Well, it did prompt their legal team to revise a couple things in our favor, or make them a little more palatable for us, so.
It is very hard to police with the new lease for towing with the old lease, excuse me. The new lease gives us the power to maintain our spots. It resets everything for 15 years. Once the 15 years is up, or they sell, now we can go to them and say, we're starting fresh, we're gonna negotiate. Without
So I think it was someone asked where or who, Pennell Park, when they changed, was bought by Monroe and Companies out of Colorado. And they are in the business of taking apartment houses and redoing them for Section 8. They've got one in Cloquet. This is, I think there's 3 in Minnesota. We're one of the 3, and there's another one in Duluth. So when the question is like kind of who are we dealing with, we're dealing with a corporation, huge corporation. So when one of the things I saw the council struggling with, it's kind of a David and Goliath thing. You've got a large corporation with a huge staff of lawyers that know real estate, know property laws, and the gentlemen that were working on this from the get-go have just really done the best I think we can to get the best opinions without breaking the bank. Just sleepless nights, right? Yeah.
Okay, so do we have any recourse, now that it's going to be Section 8, do we have any recourse for people who bring in derelict cars and leave them in the parking place?
So,
Is there
Right
any
now,
lease?
no.
right,
The current lease, we do not have.
the current lease, no.
Okay.
The new lease, there are some things in there that we can hold them to, as well as if they are in spots that are not on the south side of the drawing of the red line.
But I would say not if that derelict car is in one of their 35 spots, we've got no recourse other than our relationship with Wendy and Pennell Park.
Yep.
But nothing in the lease.
And they have, if no one has noticed, down in this lower corner where the garage used to be that they tore out, that used to be their smoking area, and they're not smoking up there anymore. They've insisted that the residents use the lower lot in front of their building because they don't want that appearance because we're a church. So they're making little adjustments and have been making little adjustments to be more neighborly, which is great. So, Lloyd? No, that is the proposed under the new lease. Under the new lease, everything to the north in the picture of that red line is under our complete control, where we can tow. If it's not somebody associated with the daycare or with the church, we can have it towed.
Oh, that's the 35 spots.
So the original 18, the original 18, this isn't a good reflection of the original 18. The original 18, see that there's some right along the building at the very bottom of the picture? That's within their original 18. And then it went up each side, so facing Arlington and facing the trees. Then there was a revision at one point where they wanted a few more spots, and we gave them the corner of the center section. But the original lease that we are essentially under if we vote no for going forward, is the row facing Arlington, the row facing the trees, and the row facing their building for 0 remuneration. Yes.
Yeah, those that are highlighted.
And now because, just so everyone knows, the property line is 2 feet off of their building.
Yes.
So all them spots at the bottom, we also control once we reset a lease, which puts us in a very good negotiating spot. The Hampton part is the old lease. The attorneys, 2 of them, have told us we basically have nothing.
No leg to stand on. They have a leg to stand on. We don't.
Their attorney back in 19 did very good compared to our pastor that was just looking to
Yeah.
help. And
Well, if you put concrete barriers up, you keep them original spots. If you want to put concrete barriers up, then you screw it.
Yeah, so would snow removal, but
I'm saying, if they're blocked
Correct, correct. Yeah. Yeah, well, so Lloyd, remember that this, no, maybe I didn't state it. This has been going on, what is this now? September.
A year.
We have been negotiating back and forth and long hours of the council and with legal for representing our side against their side for a year. And this is what we've come up with. And part of what we've come up with as well is this also backdates this to July 1st. So we have a couple of months now, if this is accepted, once this is accepted, that we would receive some back. We tried to get it back to the first of the year, but there was no flying on that. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, and numbers-wise, how many spots are we gonna have left?
Just show them so we'll have.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I think there's 5 there, and there's 4 on that side, so 9, 17, 37, 36 on the north. Or, no, not 30. There's like 17, yeah, 20, that's what it is, about 26 spots. About 26 in that lot. Yeah.
Can I address Lloyd's question?
Go ahead.
So, our current lease says the lease pertains to us and the old Penn Park people and any successor or assigns. And it seems like what I found out in the little I was involved with this is that court case history is that if a landlord such as us tries to get more money from a lessee such as the new lessee, courts have held that if you're trying to get more money for what you've been given for your old rate, the courts don't really allow that. So, you know, to use what you're saying, use market rate, and thinking we can get that much more money, if we go to court, it's probably not gonna happen.
And if we were to go to court, Lloyd, we looked into that, and the conservative cost for us to fight this and possibly not win, conservatively, is probably about $20K, which is not something that we want to encumber ourselves with. Becky?
How much have we paid so far in attorney fees, or will we pay when all is said and done so far? Or
That's a great question, Jeff. Lloyd,
About
Rod?
4,000, I think you got.
It's gonna be about 4,000.
Yeah, I think there's about
A
4.
little bit of more for looking over the lease, the new lease.
Yeah.
and one more question, you said something about we could toll people, but what about the reverse order? If somebody parks in one of those spots, can they have us towed?
The potential exists. I would be fibbing to you if I said it wasn't. However, based on the relationship that Pastor Ann has developed with them over there and Rod and their understanding of when we would need those spots the most, not likely. And they are very open and understanding to the fact that we would, if they were in our spots. They are going to do, they've indicated that they're going to do something with, as far as a permit, whether it's a sticker or whatever. And out of being good neighbors, if there was one parked up in one of our spots that had that, we would reach out over there to them and say, hey, otherwise they're going to get towed.
Over the almost 50 years that we've been here, we haven't been here 50 years, 40 years we've been here. The issue during the week, other than for a funeral, has not been an issue. We don't need that many parking spaces on
The weekdays, right?
and we talked about, do we toll, is that being neighborly? If there's somebody parking there, what's the point, really? If there's somebody on Wednesday in a Holy Cross parking spot, any given Sunday, gonna get up early in the morning and go move their car and park it someplace down the street? Is that in all reality gonna happen?
That part won't, but I'm going to go back to the relationship that we've developed and continue to develop with the neighbors. They are going to be aware, and the residents are going to have notification that this is what it is. They're going to get a map probably similar to this. Here's your spots. And we'll take it from there. We'll take it on a case by case as it comes. Tim, go ahead.
The 15 years is my problem. with
Agreed.
this, and
Agreed.
So they're asking, seems like they have a ball in their court, basically. And my personal feeling is if that was reduced to 5 years, I wouldn't have any problem with this. And so say, even if we went half of the 15,
Right.
7.5, I could live with that. I think that would probably be best especially be best for Holy Cross.
Okay.
So if something like that could happen, I wouldn't have any trouble supporting it.
And we wouldn't either. And we went through that. Jeff, did you want to say anything to that?
So on that issue, me and Rod sat down with their attorney and our attorney, and we preached to get 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. This is, for them, this is it. They will do this deal, or it's to the 18 spots, and they're gonna live with it, because they know they can take advantage of us through the lease that knowledge.
The way the existing
You have to ask yourself.
Yeah, the way the existing lease is written, it's entirely in their best interest to get us to say no. Because they are willing to go with the original 18 spots. There is no recourse for us to tow because it's not written into that original lease. And so we would continue on with exactly the encroachment and everything else that we're doing now and get nothing for it until 2052. So,
To wrap this up on my perspective, I will tell you, there's 2 questions for you. We can take this lease as presented, or we can go back to the old, and we can physically boundary out our areas. We can do that. And then take them down when we want to use them. That's about the only option we have under the current lease.
It's only because of this old lease that we're in this position. Otherwise, I feel Holy Cross owns the property. Holy Cross is the one that is in control of this.
correct.
Because of that old lease that we're.
We are hamstrung because of the old lease. Yes, yes.
Because otherwise, I remember back the days when, I think the first thing, it was 6 spots that we gave Nell Park. And I know Bob was a little upset at that time because he said, we shouldn't be giving away our parking. Then the next thing, it was a big one, then it was the 17 lots. And now it's more, and I guess we're just giving more and more and more, and yet we're in control of this. Now, with this lease, Canal Park is in more control.
Correct.
Which is the thing that I didn't really understand, because otherwise, I just feel that we shouldn't be giving away more parking. We want to grow, and
And we don't want to. Believe us, the council has worked long and hard on this, and we don't want to give them any more spots, especially at what was offered. This is actually the best of what's been offered. But we're hamstrung by the original lease. We're tied up, can't do anything more. And I don't know exactly which line it is, but there is a line in there that their attorneys left in there, their legal counsel left in there, that if they sell the building, everything stops and restarts with the new owner as far as we can renegotiate.
then we would be in control.
And then we would be in full control. Yes. So we're somewhat reluctantly, we are realizing that this is going to be the best that we're going to have, that would take us to, well, 25 to 2040. So it's still shorter than the 2052. We've already cut that off. We've saved there, but at least it's something. So, did anybody else have? Go ahead.
I think we answered the question already, but just so that we're clear, if this proposal were to get voted down today,
Correct.
what's the next step?
Nothing. It continues as it has.
So you don't anticipate any renegotiations? If this gets down, your
No.
feeling is that they'll just keep the existing lease?
Correct.
And go forward?
Correct.
It would just have to change.
And there would be on our part, it would make more work for us because we would have to then police the lot to hold them to their 18. And unless there's somebody here that wants to drive by every couple hours and put tickets on the window.
But like I said, it's not a big deal during the week.
No, during the week it's not kind of a non-issue.
On Sunday morning.
And funerals and weddings.
If we grow.
Yeah, yeah.
My feeling, if we grow, if we're having that many people coming to church, why not have 2 services then? And then you wouldn't have the parking.
So, I don't want to jump ahead to things, but Pastor Ann mentioned this morning that she's going to be going off to a mission and development training deal. And that is something that the congregation, as we get more information from the synod and such, we are going to have to start thinking more and more about the direction that we want to go. And mission and development is one of those directions that we can go. This, in some way, shapes, and forms, is headed on that path, or kind of fits in a piece of that, as do some other things that are in the works. A second service, perhaps. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away because it's still in the development stage, but pray on where we as a congregation want to go. And to just randomly say we want to grow, we need more prayerful thought on that, because what one person sees as growth, another person may not, because there's different ways of growing and growing in faith. So
Can we vote on this?
Yes.
We have to do everything.
No, let's.
Because I'm gonna need to leave.
Yeah, this has already gone longer than I really was hoping for, and I totally get it. But if we can, go ahead, Sandy.
Can I make a motion now? Vote on this now.
Yes.
And there's nothing more than
No.
discuss everything.
Let's.
Let's clarify, a yes vote votes for this.
A yes vote is going to give us a new lease starting over effective July 1st, this last July 1st. And
Just show the other one, please.
you're okay.
This is,
Similar to that for the existing, and it stays the same, nothing changes.
that's a no vote.
Yeah, that'd be a no vote. So, show of hands. That work for you, Dave? Our secretary's over there, he's waiting to count. So those in favor, raise your hand, please. Hold it up so Dave can count. This is the yes vote. Those are in favor of a yes vote to accept the new lease and terms. Those opposed, if you put, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5. So based on that, I think that it carries. The next little bit of business is just a bookkeeping transparency and approval. question. So we got some ERC funds. Those ERC funds, that's employee retention credit funds from during COVID. And we had a building project that was $118,000. There were some other things that were associated with that that did not get wrapped into the whole cost. And so we ended up being short about $8,800. And then, so we had the ERC funds for $23,000. Then we got some interest on that for a total of $29,000. We had to pay the consultant that helped us get all the paperwork done to get that done. And we had, when we voted for the sign out front, the congregation decided to utilize some of those funds that had not yet come towards that. And so of that $29,000, we've utilized $86.26. So there is, based on that, there's about $20,000. What we're asking in this meeting is, can we utilize $8,852 to close out that building project that we had? And that's it. If it's okay with the congregation to take some of that ERC money and pay that off, and in following up with that, that would then leave us with approximately $12,000 of ERC money. And we want you all to give some prayerful thought as to how that can be possibly utilized and bring those forward later, not at this time, towards our program, whether it's physical plant, building, property, or whether it's programming, but prayerfully think on that remaining $12,000. Becky?
I just have a quick question. When we originally voted on the sign at that time,
Yes.
and we talked about pledges in this building fund,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time, I think Marcia had said that there were people that hadn't fulfilled their pledges,
Mm-hmm.
and that letters were going to be sent to those people to remind them that, this is what they pledged and this is what they owe. That being said, is this now a totally done deal? We're not accepting pledges anymore? Are people still paying their pledges? Or what's the deal?
We will,
Balance on the pledges that are still owed?
We got about 95% of the pledges, members that continuously pay out.
So we'll still continue to collect
Yeah.
on that as well?
sure. This just takes and closes up some bookkeeping things with some loan interest that I don't want to say that we weren't aware of, but I don't know how that all worked. That was before me. Rich?
This is basically a bookkeeping. Typically in the past, when we had fundraisers and if we were running short, we would come back to the congregation and say, hey, we're running short, and we would get more money and cover it. So what happened in this? It just got to the point where we ended up paying out more money than we took in for our fundraiser. The money is already gone. It's already been spent. So in my mind, there's two decisions. And historically here, we have a QuickBooks accounting system, but we also do things kind of like a cookie jar. We have a fundraiser, we set money aside for this, and then we spend the money, we take it out of the cookie jar, and we pay for it. So the ERC technically is a cookie jar right now with $20,921. Council only has the authority to spend up to $5,000 for things that are not in the budget. Again, the money is spent. The congregation can say, okay, let's take $8,800 of the cookie jar and do that.
Clean things up.
You also have the authority as a congregation just to call it an expense. And say the $8,800 is an expense. It hits the income statement as an expense. Doesn't take any more money out of our account because we've already paid it.
Right.
Then you have your $20,000, $900
So it's a matter of, as Rich puts it, leave it in the cookie jar or take it out of the cookie jar and balance the books.
Yeah.
So that's what we're asking in our trying to be transparent with the congregation about everything. So bottom line, a yes vote would be to take it out of the cookie jar. I like that analogy, Rich. Take it out of the cookie jar and balance things, or the no vote would be to just leave it on the books and
Well, it would be expense.
expense it off, expense it off, which would then come out of our general fund, bottom line losses or whatever. So, those in favor. Oh, we gotta have a motion. Who would like to make a motion? Sandy. Okay. Yes vote, we take it from the cookie jar. No vote. Which way, Sandy? Yes would be take it out of the cookie jar. No would be to leave it on as a loss on the books and deal with it through that side of things. Do we need a second first? Head and a second. All in favor of the cookie jar removal? Borrow? Float? The cookie jar will grow, by the way. And those opposed? There we go. All right. Thank you for sticking with us for this long. I did not intend for it to be this long. If anybody has any questions or wants further clarification, please reach out to Jeff, Rod, or myself. We will do our best. Thank you and have a great week. And I'm looking forward to some Jell-O salads next week, folks.